Oh boy. It says we're live. Let's see if there's any technical difficulty. I always wonder about the audio because I feel like the audio, I should see it, but it's just on one little dot. So get on here. Happy holidays. I wanted to share a couple of things and really just say hi because I feel like it's been a little bit, I know for everybody, the holiday season can really get to going and it's like November and then it's January 1st. So if you're on now, can you let me know if you can hear me? Um, okay, yeah. I think that I have the right settings, although I have a pop-up right now that it does not look familiar. So if you're on right now, can you say hi? Okay, can you hear me? Are we good on audio? Mic check, mic check. All right. Hello, everybody. It's kind of funny, right? I've been talking the whole time, and then I'm like, "Can you hear me? Can you hear me?" Anyway, yes, I wanted to get on here and talk about the holidays a little bit. Say hi to everybody. Express my gratitude for everyone who has been here and everyone who is new in the past couple weeks. Things have shifted a bit. So, and also, if y'all have any questions, absolutely feel free. I knew that if I didn't do it now, that it was going to be like next week before I know it and before you know it too. So I've got some coffee, I've got some water, and I wanted to have a little holiday party. So we're doing it. I don't have any holiday decorations up behind me, but we're gonna have the decorations in our heart. So if you do have any questions, come at me with those questions. But I also wanted to help because obviously everyone's experience with their family and their represented family can be different. And for a lot of people, when these times come up, either it can just be painful, there can be a lot of losses, or it could be very challenging going around people where a lot of your limited beliefs were formed. So I wanted to give y'all some cheat sheets, some tools to put in the back of your pocket so that no matter what your experience is, you have some empowerment as you head into these days. Or maybe you're already in it and you're like, oh my gosh, SOS, help me. And feel free to share if you'd like in the comments to let me know where you are. To be seen if you so desire. Hello, Indiana. It kind of feels funny because even though today's in the US, it's the 23rd, it definitely already feels like we're in it. This is Christmas Eve's Eve. So, and again, if you don't celebrate that, obviously it's a lot of holidays throughout the US, or sorry, throughout the world. And one of my favorite holidays is actually New Year's Eve because no matter what country you're in, no matter what religion you're in, no matter what is going on in your life, everyone is going to experience a new year. So I always really love that unity. And that you could just say, yeah, Happy New Year. I know no matter what, I wish you a Happy New Year. So, and there's fireworks, and I have a lot of fire in my chart. Who doesn't like that? Hello. Oh, Oregon. Me too. But yeah, so one thing that I can say is that as we go into these moments with people, no matter who those people are, if you're getting triggered, you know, when you're in the trigger, you're feeling mad, you're feeling sad, you're feeling crushed, whatever that experience is, something has happened, it's triggered, and it's more than just what happens in that moment. Just like if you had a bruise, if somebody pushed your arm and your arm was regular, no big deal. But if you had a bruise and they pushed it, it would cause a lot more pain than was what is being applied to, right? Because it's pushing on something deeper. So when you're triggered, when there's some sort of big emotional reaction, we're not shaming, blaming, guilting yourself for having that. What we want to do is be aware. Okay, something's real. Oh, there's some juicy stuff that I can heal in this, but right now I've got to take care of myself. I've got to sense of safety around me. So not trying to say affirmations, not trying to visualize when you're in the trigger, That would be the same as if you're getting chased by a lion, getting chased by a bear, and you're like, hang on a second, I would really like to sit here and visualize, right? Your body is in a state of panic, in a state of, I'm not safe. So you want to do what you need to do. This is where the ABCs is going to be really big. Awareness. Okay, I'm starting to feel really anxious. I'm starting to feel, uneasy. I'm starting to feel angry. Rather than doing a whole thing in that situation, how can I take care of myself? You know what? I'm going to go outside and take a walk. I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'm going to go to the other room, right? Bringing all that energy that might be, the illusion will be that if I do this in this situation, that's the issue. But really, there's a pre-existing issue, and you want to keep yourself safe. So if somebody's being a jerk to you, it's not like, oh, they're not being a jerk. You could be attracting the same dynamic that's reminding you consciously of this old thing. So, what do you need? How can you take care of you? How can you be team you and realize no matter how those people are treating you, there are people who love, adore, and value what you have, even if those people in that situation don't see it. You don't have to make them see it. And you need to learn to take care of yourself, step out of that old dynamic. I know it can be easier said than done, but having some strategies ahead of time, some somatic breathing, like the Dr. Peter Levine wooing, all you're doing is voo. You're just doing that for maybe 2 minutes, and that can really help stimulate that vagal nerve, which is going to relax your body. And the reason we care about this is because everything is energy. If your body doesn't know the difference between a very vivid or replayed imaginal thing that has happened, but if your body thinks you're there now, it's the same as if it's happening. So energetically, you want to be very, let's see, I don't know the word, not cautious, but delicate, respectful. None of these are the words, but attentive. You want to be very attentive to how you're feeling. Now, even simply, if you're around people and they're not even doing anything, just their presence is very triggering. Focusing on your breath can go a long, long way. Just breathing in the nose deeply, letting it out of your mouth. So let's see, I got a couple comments here. Suggestions on how to deal with traumatic memories that feel impossible to stop thinking, feeling about. Well, that's hard because I'm not, fully understanding if this was like a physical attack or assault, or if it was more like a childhood thing where it was like a verbal assault. Somatic work is going to be very, very important in order, because we can't outthink that traumatic memory because our body was there too. So we need to process the thought part and the physical body through somatic work, ideally a somatic therapist who holds the tools, who essentially helps you alchemize and transmute the energy. If not, you're trying to just suppress. So part of it, if it's really, really repeating over and over in the meantime, you know, one of the somatic things is simply, if you're on a chair, feeling the texture of the chair, focusing on your breath, like I mentioned earlier, but having a toolkit of some somatic exercises or tools so that you can come back to your body, because in that thing you're kind of ghosting yourself energetically, and potentially your body feels like you're in danger, right? It's replaying that thing so you'll feel safe. Or maybe part of you is yearning and needing your help to process. It's like if a little kid was holding this giant box of, I don't know, 100 pounds, 50 kilos. And they're like, oh, can you help? Can you help? I can't hold this anymore. So it's not there to punish you. It's there to help you to remember, or to urge you to get the help to not hold it as an adult, but to alchemize it. So when you process that energy, that old wound, you can transmute it from a wound to wisdom. I hope that makes sense. It's as simple as that, but the process of it can be difficult because you're going to go through that experience that you didn't have the tools for, that was very traumatic. So that's why I also believe like a therapist is really going to be impactful, because they have the skills. It's like a surgeon, an emotional surgeon that can help you process that. but not just mentally. The physical body, the somatic therapist is going to help immensely. You can do this alone, and having the therapist can help expedite it, if that makes sense. How can you heal from feeling like a trash human being because I feel like my inner world is too much for other people to handle? And again, I don't know your background, but the idea from my own experience and working with a lot of other people, the idea that I'm too much, the emotional environment you grew up in was too small for what you offered or who you are. That doesn't mean you're too much. You could also say that it wasn't enough for you. Your emotional your emotional depth, your emotional maturity, your capacity was bigger than your environment you grew up in. Now, we grow up as children having to relate to our environment because that meant safety. If we're not accepted by our primary environment, we're going to be on our own. We're going to get kicked out of the house, So we've got to say, okay, I've got to break away, fracture this part of me so I can be loved and accepted. When I go forward with all of me, oh, that seems my perspective as a child whose brain is not fully developed. Oh, I must be too much for them. We take the fault or the blame or the responsibility, and that's where a lot of shame, the origin of shame, something's wrong with me because they're not loving me. So I must be the defective one, the too much one, the one that's broken or not enough or all these other things. Part of that though, the crushing reality is, oh, these people cannot love me the way I need to be loved. No, they're not bad people, and maybe in your experience they were very mean. So I'm not trying to defend them, just trying to see their humanness, right? Doesn't make it okay. And if you were in more of like a loving or, it was more peaceful, but you still didn't get it, that doesn't make them bad people either. They did the best they could and it wasn't enough for you. But the idea that you're too much, if you start to shift your perspective that, oh, I potentially was around people who emotionally that freaked them out because of their own wounds, and it's not even freak out's not a good word. It overwhelmed them, it scared them because that was overwhelming for them. That doesn't make you overwhelming. But if you can start to see, oh my gosh, my emotional environment growing up lacked the tools I needed, as opposed to I'm too much for it. It would be the same as if somebody in college comes in and they know a lot of different things. Say we're in a math class and they go to a first grade. For the college kid to be like, oh my gosh, my knowledge is too much for this environment. Well, yeah, it's more evolved, it's more sophisticated, right? There's nothing bad or wrong in any of those. Again, with the asterisk, assuming you weren't, abused and that sort of thing, that's obviously completely not okay. And how can you start shifting your perspective on that idea? Because you're still relating to that environment from a long time ago. You relate you through that to you. So you'll probably keep finding, this is the tricky part too. You'll attract or be attracted to the familiarity of people who aren't emotionally available. And you'll think, oh, there I go again. I'm too much for them. But really, what's familiar, you go to until you start being aware of this and breaking out. Oh, look, see, they can't. So it's like you grew up in a small cup. And so you go and you find that small cup and that feels familiar. And you're like, I don't fit. I'm too much. And the other tricky thing here is not only could you be drawn to those actual situations that are too small for you, but you could project and your perceptions could block out everything else other than, oh, they're saying it's too much, even if that person could be potentially emotionally available. Um, so please let me know, Angry Peach, if this is resonating, if that's helping, because the simplicity of it is you're relating to yourself through that early on environment and you keep either attracting that same vibe or you perceive it. Oh, I must be too much. And that's where the ABC awareness. Okay, the story I'm telling myself right now is I'm too much. I'm not too much. I am myself. I was born this way. And there are people in the world who hold the emotional capacity to appreciate, receive, and understand me. They're not too much or too little. They resonate with me. I have a history of attracting people who don't understand or who can't receive. For me personally, I would find that because I was afraid of emotional intimacy. I was afraid to be seen because I felt like I wasn't good enough. So I kept finding people who wouldn't see me, and then it would continue to make me tell the story that, oh look, I'm not good enough. I better work harder. And if you take the early on understanding of how I was thought I could be loved, I need to work harder. I need to be the hero. I need to be the helper. If I'm not saving people and rescuing them and sacrificing my sense of my life and my time, then I have no value with people, right? So I kept emotionally abandoning myself, and then I found it in the outside world. I hope that makes sense. Like you can see how bad my hands want to draw something. Make a picture. I need to get one of those electronic ones. We could do like a game day, like split screen. Reminds me of sports. I'm like, all right, you take the play and you go in here and you break the bond of the habit of relating to your environment to you, and you start relating from yourself to the world. That's really where the magic is. When you have the agency or you have the rights to your self-image. Right now, it sounds like your early on environment still holds the rights. I still find it hard to feel a different way because of my past experiences. Opening up feels both extremely dangerous and relieving at the same time, but I can't risk it. The other thing too is you have to learn discernment. And maybe you are, maybe you're in the process, right? What builds trust for you right now? And it can change, but we don't care about before or after. We care about now. How the people who you know you can trust, how do you know you can trust them? What things do you need to build trust so you can then create the bridge and know that that's safe? And where can you start? If you find somebody, that's where those kind of toxic, um, what do they call them? Trauma bond kind of thing, right? The big flash, like you meet and 1 hour later you know everything about each other. It doesn't sound necessarily like this is your case since you feel scared to open up. But in those moments where people just like love bomb, it's because there is actually there's I don't know if it's just an unconscious thing, an energetic thing, but we find people who match up and they feel so familiar, but consciously we don't understand. And so we just kind of dump it on them or connect really quickly, but it's connection from the repeating painful pattern most times, because trust and true love is a slow process, like a layered onion, and not just some one bam wham bam, here it is. So if you can learn what you need to feel safe and start giving that to yourself and start seeing, okay, and maybe you don't even know a person, you're like, I really like that in relationships and even in platonic relationships, like that, watching other people interact or even in movies. Oh, I like that person, values or listens or whatever the case may be. Hey, Magda. What time is it there? I guess it's evening time. And yeah, where are y'all listening from or watching across this world? Let me know. Okay. So even the stuff I'm talking about now, that still relates to these holiday seasons, because ultimately what you're looking for is autonomy. You to be able to share and express who you are to you, as opposed to relating to the traumatic things and anything that's traumatic, as explained by Gabor Mate. It's not so much what happened, because two people could go through the same thing and have a different response. It's the event that happened and then how it affects you inside. Oh my gosh. When I share, maybe my family laughs at me. Maybe they just ignore me. Maybe they mock me. I better not do that. So then you distort, you suppress or repress part of yourself. So then you can still kind of be a fragment of yourself, but maybe still get a little bit of connection and crumbs. But then you take that same model of how to be loved, how to connect, and that's what you use as your like default blueprint for relationships. And that's relationships of any kind, connection with money, connection with friends, connection with people. Oh, no, it's in North Carolina. Oh, 10 p.m. in Austria. Late night. Are you having any tea? Is Amaro in a cute sweater outfit. It's almost going to be Christmas Eve. Thank you for joining us so late. It's 1:15 p.m. where I am, even though I'm drinking coffee, which is a crazy day, but it's the holidays. So I'm doing it. But yeah, so the process of it is easy in terms, or the structure of it is easy, but getting into it can be difficult because those experience were so deep in either I fear there's a threat if I open up, or um, you know, I think my needs will be taken away if I do. Oh, that's a good question. What makes it feel dangerous? Um, because that's the thing too, like the perception, and this is interesting that on my one-on-ones I talk a lot about, but I sometimes I talk about it in videos, but it kind of is part of it, not necessarily a whole video, but like attachment wounds. Oh my gosh, yes, lemon tea. um, I love that. I was like, I feel like you're cozy somewhere drinking warm tea and your dog is looking so cute. I'll never get over the little tiny painting. That was like so heartwarming. I wish we could share video, like pictures in the chat, because I would love you to put it in there because I'm like, oh my gosh, everyone needs to see how cute this dog is. But okay, back to what I was saying. I've lost my train of thought. Attachment wounds, right? So very, 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 basic would be okay. Obviously, there's secure, and then kind of one or two things happen to split into those insecure. And I know there's a lot of different like branches, but I like to keep it simple. If you watch my other videos, I don't like a lot of noise. I'm trying to make it really concise so you can get it and then you can grow from that. But let's start simple. So secure. So if you didn't get the needs right, if somebody was too much in your business, they were maybe a helicopter parent, or they questioned everything and they made you question your own ideas. If they were physically violating to you or sexually violated you, you moving away from that created safety, right? So that's that avoidant. Something comes too much, they perceive it, they want to go away. Now, on the other side of the coin, you have somebody whose boundaries were crossed too far away. Maybe they were neglected, maybe they were ignored, but that primary relationship, they moved too far away. So that person feels like they're safe if they chase. They have to go after people. They have to give 90 and maybe someone will give 10. And so what do we find? We find those two people finding each other time and time again. You could be one way in romantic relationships, another way in friendships. I feel like I'm way anxiously attached and, healing from that in romantic relationships. But with friendships, I can tend to be more avoidant. So the reason I'm telling you this is, for me, healing that anxiety is in the moment. Am I telling myself the story? Like, what am I, if I start getting anxious physically and I start getting really, kind of rapid thinking mind kind of a vibe, I've got to be aware. Oh, I think they're going to leave. I think that if I don't go do something big and save something or do something, they're leaving me. Oh, nope. By rejecting myself and assuming rejection, I'm actually doing that right now. Okay. All right. How can I take care of myself right now? What can I do to bring that energy back to me, to ground myself? Um, so for the dangerous part, if somebody crossed your boundaries, you got to move away from them. You perceive and have had a lot of betrayal in your life. You might perceive, and yours might be more suspicion or distrust. Okay, hang on. I fear being misunderstood and rejected for my true feelings. Okay, so probably I would make the assumption that in the past that has happened. Maybe you had a very overbearing parent and you were rejected for your true feelings. Somebody was very reckless and disrespectful with your precious, wonderful, beautiful feelings. And so, if in the moment you're suspicious or distrusting, and you're just projecting that onto the current situation from the past, that's actually self-abandonment, because you are not able to actually say, is this a repeat of the past, Or is this a potential for something new? But if you assume they're going to reject you, you're assuming they're going to misunderstand you. That rejection is actually starting from with you rather than using discernment. And that's where you could bust out your list of, how do I know I can trust somebody? What are things I need to build trust? What do I know to be true? So if you can start to just become aware of, if you're assuming rejection, if you're assuming they're up to no good, suspicion and distrust, that's more associated, in my opinion, with avoidant. And there's nothing wrong. These are ways we stayed safe, strategies we had to use to stay safe, to get our basic needs met. But that original, thing that protected us is now creating a cage. And if we're not aware, um, of it in the present moment, we just keep repeating it. So even just to start becoming aware, oh wow, yeah, I'm assuming they'll leave. What do I know to be true? How, and ultimately, how can I take care of me right now? Okay, I want to go and draw. I want to go and write. I want to go and take a walk. I need to go do some breathing. Using your discernment and learning how to trust yourself will massively, massively help break out of that. I hope that helps. Okay. Well, hello, Bro Cartoon. I think that's how you say it. I definitely recognize your name. And sometimes it's so funny because, like, I know y'all's screen names or YouTube handles. I don't know. But I don't know your actual name. Hello, Terry, my almost last name twin, only 2 letters off. Let's see. Oh my gosh, Amaro. Oh my gosh, he's snoring. That's amazing. And how do I celebrate Christmas? Well, there's been a lot of different iterations. But this year it's going to be really laid back. Um, Christmas exchange, presents exchange, and probably some holiday movies. Um, my partner had talked about creating kind of vision boards, so I think that will be fun. She is really good at art. And so even though I'm not really good with drawing, but it's fun to do creative projects together. So we'll probably do something like that. She's really good at singing. And so potentially she's singing, I'm drawing or reading. Very, very like those memes of the little like bunnies in the like painting vibes where it looks really cozy and just kind of the last 6 weeks in my life have been incredibly busy and exciting and fun, but very, very busy. So just really relaxing sounds like the best right now. Okay. Okay. So, bro, cartoon, I've been slipping back into the old mindset and need to get back to practicing positive thinking. Well, old mindset, again, all of it is part of me needing me, and what do I need to give myself? What am I missing here? Because if you keep finding you have to force positive thinking, what is fueling the negative thinking? Is it even your voice? A lot of times, our early childhood caretakers are the negative voices in our head because we're simply echoing it. So if you can start to relate, oh, that's what my mom said. That's what my grandma said. That's what my teacher said. My dad, uncle. Oh, that's not even my voice. What do I think about me? You know what? I don't need that. Thanks for the love. I'm good. I trust myself, right? Getting to the root of what is fueling the old mindset can help you utilize your energy effectively. Okay, Serenity Lake. How can we begin to design or imagine new types of relationships that are actually healthy in spite of never having experienced loving relationships? Yeah, I feel you on that. That's a great question. The first thing that happened for me in this dynamic, because I didn't have a healthy relationship before, is starting to have a healthy relationship with yourself. And it honestly is learning how to take care of yourself will dramatically change how you see relationships. Because you might find, oh, I want to be in a relationship, so that person will do this, so then I'll have that. Oh my God, I'm just abandoning me. How can I take care of me? And another thing you can do is it could be current people you know. It could be people you know of, and not so much how they act with each other, because sometimes people can put on a front. But maybe you noticed one person doing something nice, and you're just like, wow, I really like how that person was attentive and they cared about that, or they know, it could be from movies. We don't want to compare, but we want to start getting aware of what is important to you. And what end emotion or what need would that facilitate? Because what are you doing in that as well? You're starting to learn about yourself. Now, in relationships, the illusion is, oh, if I found that perfect person, then I'd know the healthy relationship, but it's not. You can only start to have healthy relationships if you have one with yourself. And if you don't, you can learn it. I mean, I had such an unhealthy relationship with myself, and I was so codependent and so focused on the outside because it felt like without an outside person to love me, I was like in a desert all by myself. So only when I started to understand myself and include myself in the conversation and the dynamic and understood, oh man, I'm being manipulative. I want to go and do this nice thing for this person so I get XYZ. Oh, what if I just start giving that to myself and learn how to ask for it? Then I can actually freely do these things where it's not so much of a game, but it's more of like a deep survival, like, oh God, I have to be this so I get that. So let me know if that helps in terms of how can you design it? For one, know what your needs are. I didn't know what they were. For me, consistency is very important, or it was at least in the beginning of my current relationship. And they can evolve. So for me, consistency was really, really big. And that looked like, okay, knowing that there was a little bit of time reserved for the relationship to be together, that like relieved my anxiety and my assumption that I'm going to be forgotten or I'm going to be left out. So, what is important to you in relationships? Three things, but more specifically, what end emotion or what need will that facilitate for you? And you can look up online, Google basic human needs and start to get to know yourself. It's very boring. And it's like, I thought that that meant like, oh, I'd go live then all alone in the mountains. But no, it actually is a doorway to connection with other people. You have to connect, and you can only connect with others to the depth you're connecting with yourself. It's, it wasn't my favorite thing. And also, it does work and it is better than what I was thinking before. So I hope that helps. Oh, oh my gosh, that's amazing. You just adopted a dog from being euthanized. Well, Merry Christmas. That's what is your new dog's name? Thank you for that and for keeping that sweet little dog in this world. That's amazing. That like makes my heart feel like I'm like, it's like in the movie The Grinch Stole Christmas. That's also something I love to watch. The Grinch Stole Christmas, the Christmas Story, even though I've probably seen it like over 100 times because I would watch it when it was on TBS for 24 hours. I do like watching Love Actually, but you know, you're just kind of like doing stuff like maybe wrapping presents and it's in the background. Um, but yeah, please tell me your dog's name. I love that story. That's amazing. I realized I would never make me feel more secure. Okay. I realized what would make me feel more secure would be willingness from the other person to understand and stick with me. Okay. So, I mean, that's big right there. Okay. And what does willingness look like? What does stick with me look like? You know, it sounds like you're looking to be like to be seen and for compassion potentially. And then it just keeps going. How do you know somebody has that? You know, you just want to start getting clear. And it's not like, oh no, I have to like know these things before I go out. You can reverse the tape. You can start saying, okay, somebody who maybe didn't listen to you and wasn't willing to stick around, did you see any red flags? Did you see anything? Well, maybe they were showing you, I don't know if this person is safe for my emotions, but you were like, ah, no, I got to do this anyway. Or, you know, we're not looking to judge you. We're looking to learn. So you can apply that learning to the future and make better and better and better choices. Okay. Always have money blocks. It's crazy weird. Meditation seems to help. But of course, I grew up poor with the money doesn't grow on trees mindset. Um, you know, yeah, that's one. Money doesn't grow on trees. You have to struggle. You have to, you know, sacrifice. It can't come easy. But look around in the world. Money is not associated with effort, or there'd be way more people with tons of money. Money is associated with value, and you know, we could go into a whole live stream about cultural values and versus soul values. And there are thousands of people in the world who are not working so hard, um, but maybe you know they're just a little bit, you know, whatever with the details of it, because there are people making money in sketchy ways, obviously. But you know, really understanding. Okay, mom, dad, I've got to sacrifice and work really, really, really hard to get money. Oh, okay, that sounds tough, but that's how you view it. But when you learn to take your power, unplug from that, and realize, what do I feel about money? How do I can see there's 100 people, if I look online, that are making way more money than they'll ever be able to spend, and maybe they work 10 hours a week. I don't know, but it looks like money grows on trees for them. Interesting. So maybe money is not associated with time and effort or sacrifice, but you've got to relate it to you. And, you know, how to do that, it's a process. The simplicity of it is to take back your agency of your self-image, and rather than relating through your family, you're relating it to you. It's like, you know, we have these ideas because we were introduced to the topic with our primary interactions, our family, right? So if we all got a big table at a restaurant, and I was like, guys, come here. Okay, listen, see that person over there? And then I just said all these terrible things that I thought or they had done. Well, even if you're a very open-minded person, you've been imprinted, you've had an influence of how you see them. That's the same with money, with relationships. And maybe your parents thought, oh, if I teach you that it's really rough out there and it's tough and it's so hard, I think that that's going to protect them. Obviously, then you're like, oh my God, everything's such a struggle. I never have what I need. I can't have what I need because life is too tough, right? So if you can start to understand, oh, okay, that's your impression. Okay, thank you for that. I'm going to go over here and start seeing my impression, my view, my value, my perspective. But you can't do that until you start learning. Oh, I'm telling myself the story. I have to struggle. This is really, really hard. And you have to, with when it comes to money, start changing the understanding of your own value. Money is often exchanged with value. Okay. So if you don't feel yourself is valuable and you work really, really, really hard so you can get the money so you can feel more valuable, your cup is too small. Even if there's $1,000 opportunity out there, you'll only be able to receive 100 of it. You'll reject it, you won't perceive of it. So you really starts in here. Do you feel valuable? Do you see yourself as that being natural? So I don't know if that helps, but there's my TED Talk on that. Okay, let's see. Okay, here's that awkward part when I'm reading, but remembering that y'all are just watching me read. Okay, I'll always have a bite the bullet at some point. Having walls up feels more comfortable when I perceive everyone to be dangerous. Yes. So, Angry Peach, can you think of some people who were safe? And just think about what attributes they had, what traits they had, how you physically felt around them. Because we want to honor your intuition, but we've got to start clearing up intuition versus projection from the past. So there we go. Merry Christmas to you, Richie Z. I'm glad you discovered it, and I'm very glad you're here. And I do want to say thank you to everybody for, one, taking time out of your day, out of your holiday season to be here, but honestly, for watching the videos, for commenting, for if you share it, for liking it. Like, it's this year, specifically the past 2 years, but a lot this year has been incredible in this community for me in this channel, because it's really helped me look deeply at some limiting beliefs and shift my perspective to let them go, and then to be able to receive uh, the echo of that has been really beautiful. There's so many beautiful things y'all say that's beautiful and so powerful to know that these videos that I'm sharing that come from me learning these hard lessons and seeing things in a different way and sharing, like, it's so powerful to know it's helping, because one of my big wounds is the fear of being seen, which is kind of funny, right? That I have a YouTube channel, but that's that soul part of me wanting to come out to be seen, but not like, oh yeah, be seen, no, I'm so great, but like, have a voice, have an idea, and share it, and not fear rejection. And really, even fear rejection and do it anyway, knowing and trusting myself that this is important and that I need to do this. So to hear that it's helping so much has really helped me have a lot of disconfirming experiences to really start shifting the way I see myself. And yeah, to dig even deeper and to go even harder and to make even more and to start thinking of other ways that I could help or other ways that other ideas. And yeah, it's just been really beautiful. And I really, really appreciate and thank you all for all your time, all your love, all your energy to help create the momentum going into this channel. So thank you. It's been a beautiful Christmas gift for me. Okay, let's see. Seems like the mindset of caution, fear, skepticism is something so primal. It might I know the word, but I can't say it. You read it. I can't say that word right now. I don't know if y'all ever have that where you're like, you hear the word and then like you try to say it and it's not right. So I know what you mean, but I cannot say that word right now, which makes it sound like it's a bad word, but it's not. I just literally cannot go. I've learned also about my brain. A lot of times I hear things backwards or reversed, which makes it interesting. I think that's why I share what I do, is because when I hear things, I hear them backwards. And so then it makes me see them backwards. And then when I share them forwards, it creates a different perspective. But anyway, yes, we are survival mechanisms, right? So we, if we, our amygdala is like, oh, fear. I remember this from the past. That is danger, danger, danger. We are going to avoid it at all costs because our primary function is survival. But this is where we have to start overriding that old program of what is safe, because what we all crave, what we all um, desire, uh, yearn for is unknown. Or we wouldn't be trying to change things, right? We'd be living it. So the unknown is actually, the desire is in the unknown, and the unknown is scanned as, oh, I've never been there. Danger, danger. So yeah, fear is part of our survival mechanism, and overriding and updating what is actually dangerous is what helps us move beyond our fear, beyond what we want, and actually create fear from the old. Like, so much of what I was attracted to or interested in is now like, oh, no, thank you. That is actually now fearful because I've shifted my perspective. So I hope that, so yes, we have to honor the fear, but we have to start using our adult functioning mind, our executive functioning mind, are part of our mind, to start saying, okay, is this a replay of the past, or is this an opportunity to make a new choice? Right? That's really where you start upgrading your fear response, if that makes sense. I've never really been listened to and never felt like my feelings have ever been valued. Well, I'd like to say, Angry Peach, that I hope that this is a disconfirming experience to you, because I'm here listening and valuing what you're saying and listening and caring about your experience, and wanting you to have the understanding that there's more people like me, as well as Shelby Sweetheart. I believe you're the other one. And I'm sure there's other people out here in this group, this chat, who also, they have been reading what you're saying and relate and care about you, and they're listening. They might not have shared that, but they are. So there are people who value you, and we totally understand that you've had a lot of valid experiences where that wasn't the case. And maybe even people said shitty stuff to you. But I want you to start seeing through this experience, there are people there. It can be safe to share. It can be fulfilling for the other person to listen as you're sharing. And you sharing can benefit other people and help to deepen interpersonal relationships. And we've got to respect that in the past that wasn't the case. And you might have a wound of kind of a perpetrator, an attacker, like a somebody who wants to just mock you, or that sort of nasty energy. So learning to use your discernment and saying, okay, oh, okay, I shared in this group. Wow, I was seen, I was listened to, I was valued. These people wanted to help me. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to write that down and remember it, that this exists. This is not some idea. This exists. So yeah, that's essentially what's helped me is, can you start remembering those good things? If not, autopilot's going to kick in. You're like, yeah, no, but remember that bad stuff, right? So we're not trying to blame or shame or put ourselves down, but we've got to start saying, okay, what do I know to be true? What are some things that are showing me that this isn't true, that this is the past, it happened, and there's something different? Okay, I'm still confused about design healthy relationships, including with self. Can you please expand on how? Can you share more about, I guess, designing a healthy relationship? Ultimately, it's self, starting with self is, are you taking care of yourself? How can you learn to take care of yourself, value yourself, listen to yourself, emotionally connect with yourself? The absence of that could be, oh man, they didn't like that. And then churning through your head. If you tell me your pattern of kind of what your relationships have been like, that can help me give me the understanding of more dynamic so I can kind of speak the language a little bit more. Um, but yeah, maybe we'll do that because that I could do a lot of different examples. But if you tell me more, if you feel comfortable, then that can help me give more specific details of what that might look like. All right, Angry Peach. This is a disconfirming experiences. I wish I had I need to upgrade and get like sound machines and I know some streamers, not that I'm a streamer, but they have it's like, I don't know. I've seen it and it's really fun because they have like animation on the screen and sound effects. So just insert a standing ovation and confetti on the screen. That's what I would have put in there. But yeah, this is a disconfirming experiences. This is showing that you can show up, that you can share, and people are interested. They want to help you and they care about you. So write this down and start also, because this is also where you can take your RAS, your reticular activating system, people talk about, right? You want a new car and you never see it and then you see 50 of them. You want a new bag, you want shoes, you want to go to a place, whatever the case may be. That part of your brain, if you start saying, okay, look for this, it's like, oh, okay, we'll do. Look for disconfirming experiences. Look for experiences that I might not be seeing where these people are supporting me. They listen to me. Maybe it's this experience. Maybe you go to the store, you buy something, and the person that works at the store is just really helpful, or they do something that's showing you, wow, this person really listened, right? Whatever it is, we want to start showing that RAS something new to look for, or it's going to say, hell no, that's they're going to reject me. Oh, look, maybe there's 10 people here. I'm just exaggerating, but these people are accepting me, but that person back there is rejecting me. It will find that. It's really amazing. Like, if you want to know more, and not that I know the infinite, but I know the tiniest little bit after reading Vitalize and Simple Truths of how intense your perceptional filters are, where literally our brain will block out things in our environment outside of our conscious awareness so it won't cause us pain. In the book, it talks about anxiety, but our brain will say, oh, don't look over there. Oh, that's too much. I don't know. If that person can see me, then I'll be seen. And then I have to maybe deal with not feeling good enough, maybe feeling like what I have to, it's pretty crazy because so long I couldn't find people to connect with or who cared about me or would go deep. And then I realized, well, somebody called me out. Honestly, it wasn't like I was like, oh, sitting on a mountain, like, oh, you know what I realized? I was talking to somebody doing a reading on me, and they said, oh, this is before my current partner. They're like, oh, you didn't want to be in a relationship. And I was like, I'm, I feel attacked. But she's like, well, you didn't really want a relationship. That's why you kept finding these people. You didn't want to be seen. And I was like, oh my God. Yes, I wanted a relationship, but I was so afraid of being seen that I found people who wouldn't see me. They also didn't have the emotional depth I needed. So, oh, wonderful, Katie. I love that you did that, the self-love meditation. I hope that helps. Okay. It's become clear that I show up as people pleaser in all relationships and realize now that in the process, I totally neglect myself in all aspects. Okay. And I'm just making sure that was, so as a people pleaser, how to, okay, you're doing great, right? You see that you're trying to please everybody, but the cost of pleasing is self-neglect. How can you start becoming aware before the neglect? What is it that I actually need? I want to please them. I'm afraid of upsetting them because I really want connection, because I want to belong. I really need to feel seen. So I feel like if I do that, so you're getting to the root of why you're actually doing the thing. Does that make sense, Serenity Lake? But starting to do that is becoming emotionally available to you. So when you get to the root, oh, I really have a sense of belonging. Okay, I want to feel safe. What makes you feel safe? If you're a people pleaser and you're wanting to feel safe, is it connection? Is it I'm safe because then they need me in their life? Like, we got to go deeper than that, because safe is good, right? Yes, safe. We want to feel safe. I want you to feel safe. I want you to be safe. But what does safe look like? Like, there's a bit more in there that I think that can give you more details. Okay. Let's see. Hello, North Dakota. I was just talking to my friend Chance last night, and we were doing like astrology stuff, and he was born in Spearfish, or is it South Dakota? Oh my gosh, I think it's South Dakota. I hope I did not offend. Maybe it's North Dakota. I honestly, unfortunately, that's like the two states, South and North Dakota, that I have not been to that I really want to go to. Just putting it out there. Okay. Oh, yes. Merry Christmas. In England, you're almost on Christmas Eve. Let's see. Do you have any exercises to help with feeling the wish fulfilled? Well, again, the illusion is I need that thing to feel it, but that is a form of self-abandonment, in my opinion, or it can be that. What do I want to feel? I want to feel safe. I want to feel seen. I want to feel freedom. I want to feel stability. I want to feel stable. That's the wish fulfilled. The other thing is the vessel of how the wish will be fulfilled. Um, so Jamie Et, I don't know, Jim, I don't know how to say your name. I'm sorry. I went for it. Jamit? I apologize. I apologize. I can't go back. But you know, okay, I want $100,000 a year. Okay, but what will that? You could spend 101,000 that year. It's not the money; it's the perceived association with what it brings you. Stability, freedom, right? But if you just get caught up in the money and then you're not even emotionally aware of what you're trying to what you're really going for, well then it's still abandonment of self. You're not being considered, in my opinion. Okay, Twilight0487. Thanks for your videos, Abby. They help me shift my perspective. Any recommendation on books, YouTube channels, blogs that help you on your journey? Yes. Are you familiar with the application Instagram? If you do have Instagram, there's some really good accounts. Bethany Webster is really, really good. She does specifically the mother wound, which I think is brilliant. And the reason I like that a lot is because it's so specific. She shows you how it shows up in your life, and then a little bit more of how to dissolve it, what you didn't get, why that's happening. So thank you for your forgiveness. I'm not going to try to say the name again because I don't know which one it was. It was close enough for the pronunciation. um, let's see. I'm going to get my phone here. If you have Instagram, let me see. I probably, I know that there's another one too that actually she lives in the same city. I've been thinking about doing a collaboration. She did agree to it, but maybe in 2024. And she's not so much in the spiritual realm, and I've shared a lot of her. Gosh, what is? I was not ready for this. Let's see. What is her? Isn't it funny, like how you look at a page all the time, but then when you have to like pull it up, you're like, oh my gosh, where is it? I cannot think of her name. Oh yes, okay, maybe it's in my emails because I signed up for her email list as well. Let's get to it. Okay, EQ School. There it is. EQ School. Bethany Webster. Let's see. I'll put it in here too. Thank you for asking about other recommendations. These are people I really love. I don't even know if I spelled her name right. It looks strange to me right now, and then the other one is, and these are all on Instagram. I'm trying to think. If other ones come up, I'll put them in there. But yeah, those are the two off the top of my head. I know that there's some other ones, but oh, there's a somatic one as well that I really recommend. I'm like typing with both hands on my phone, which I think is really funny, but like this, not like this. Okay, somatic experiencing INT. The way I'm typing right now also is kind of funny to me because when my mom types, okay, she learned like she went to like the class of how to like type properly, like how they used to have the little thingies. So when she goes to a computer, it's so cute, but it's almost like she's about to play the piano and she finds her home and then she types correctly. AOL Messenger is how I learned to type. Let's be real. Okay. So Twilight, let me know if that helps. I know that's only three, but those are really good. And there's some other somatic ones, but I'm not finding them right now. Am I? Am I not? The quietness. Um, but that's a really good idea for me to start sharing more. Oh yeah, you're good, Serenity, because this helps me. I attempt to people please in order to prevent a person's rage, violent behavior. Now, is that in the current situation, or is that kind of what you feel um, like? Is that something that happens with current people, or is that what happened before and you're like, "Oh, no, if I don't do this, they're gonna be mad." Let me know what that looks like, because at the end of the day, I want you to be safe. Yeah, so, I mean, part of it too is gonna be, is this the same person that was in childhood and now is it a parent that's still doing this, or is this, like, a romantic partner? Thank you so much for helping this 54-year-old discover my limiting beliefs. Spent 2 days finding, crying, and clearing them. Oh, your videos have blessed me considerably. Oh, well, I do have openings for coaching. I know you said you're interested in that. I don't know if I. Here's me being technologically savvy as I'm like, let me get my glasses on here. Okay, I'm going to put my one-on-one thing in here. I don't even know how to pin this stuff. I'm like, oh boy. Oh man, we're just doing it together. Just transparent here. So if y'all are interested in doing the one-on-ones, go fill out a form and we'll get it done. There's been some really incredible and very powerful moving sessions that since I've been working with people again. I love it so much, and it helps me then to make better videos. So I love it, and I thank my friend Jeremy, my amazing Canadian friend, who encouraged me to open up one-on-ones again. So thank you, Jeremy. He's the reason why I was like, oh yeah, and then I did, and yeah, it's been really wonderful. Okay, so childhood and current. So the biggest thing is going to be boundaries. And that's hard. It's hard, especially if it's physically violent. And I know it's probably very complicated. As somebody, I don't know if it's physically violent. If it's physically violent, I think that the statistical average is it takes 4 to 5 times for a woman to be able to leave. I was physically assaulted, and it's amazing the psychology that happens where it's like, as an outsider, I'd be like, how could you go back to this person who is just so terrible? Like, get out of there. But when that happens, you're in such a toxic place that you're like, no, if I just want to make it better. I just want to make it better. If we can move past, then they'll love me the way that I want to be loved. But in that is so deeply rooted in self-abandonment. So the biggest thing for you, I would say, is how can you start like learning to feel safe in your body, because then that can expand. So I would really suggest, if you have the resources to do somatic therapy around you, that can really start helping, because it can start shifting your perspective of how you can and can't stay safe. Because in the primary environment, if your mom's raging and whatnot, like you couldn't do anything to get out of that. You had to facilitate and you had to take care of that person's feelings. So now you have the same model with your marriage. There's no shame or judgment or anything in that, but it's like, okay, how can you learn that you're not powerless like you were as a kid, but how can you start getting resources so you can start, it's like if you were dehydrated in the desert, you need some water before you think about anything else. So we need to start getting you some nurturing, start helping with your nervous system so you can start thinking more clearly. And that doesn't mean anything more than literally that. When your heart and your mind, this is called heart coherence, which actually the heart coherence, they're going to have another challenge soon, which I'm going to be part of. I'm going to do a meditation for them, but I'll share that with y'all because it's a really amazing lineup. And they're all talking about heart coherence, which is when your heart and your brain are essentially connected. That is when you're the most creative, when you can, think the most clearly, when you're in your higher state. But what happens when we get stressed and we get out of that is we start thinking like more poorly. We start like all sorts of stuff, like negative stuff, because your heart actually sends more information to your brain than your brain, your heart. So even if you just start doing these somatic movements, giving yourself that little bit of space to kind of relieve your body, that can help massively. But again, without knowing if it's physically abusive, it's really hard to say. Feel free to email me if you'd like. I'll put my email in here. Here I go again. And what am I thinking about? My mom's hands up. She's like, okay, find home. It's just so different. If you see somebody who learned to properly type, it's like they're playing the piano. Okay, did I spell it correctly? Yes. Okay, feel free to email me if you want some more details that you don't have to share in this group. Okay, how are we all feeling? How's everything doing? Okay, the other big, huge thing that you can do if you're just like, oh man, I'm about to go see my family, I'm about to go to these people's house, I'm feeling whoop, is the Dr. Peter Levine, right? He is amazing, and it's so simple. The way I like to do it is put one hand over my heart, and then the other hand above, like basically your belly button, like your pinky should kind of touch like your belt or the top of your pants or whatever. And then you're going to breathe in through the nose till it moves your lower hand, till it moves your belly button out, right? And then when you get that nice slow breath, you're just going to, and you can open your mouth and adjust it like, wow, that sort of thing. And you'll feel it in your chest where you're like, oh, that feels relieving. So when you're doing this, and then after you breathe it all out, back through the nose and do it again. And if you set your clock for 2 minutes and just sit in that, you can close your eyes, you don't have to. It's going to help your body to relax. Like every time. And if Magda's still in here, she might have gone to sleep because it's understandable. It's like almost the next day there. But we did this in the Discord and it was so helpful, like amazingly helpful, because it's just like it gives you so much more space, so much more emotional, like, oh, it's like when you unplug your phone, or I don't know why I did that. It's not like I'm plugging in my phone, but you're just going to kind of reset, and it's going to help your nervous system say, oh, I'm safe. Oh, I'm safe. Okay, I'm safe. I'm safe. And doing this over and over is going to teach your body what it feels like to be in rest and digest, what it feels like to be in the creative state, as Dr. Joe says. And for Neville Goddard, the feeling of what you want in the end, it's not stress. It is rest and digest, peaceful, regulated. So you'll have to learn how to feel that. That's the feeling of safety. How to feel, oh, this feels good. And it might feel uncomfortable. It might feel like, oh no, I can't do this. This feels weird. It's new. It's different. And in that difference is the experience you're really wanting. So that's one huge thing I can tell you, is that somatic wooing. The other thing too, if, I don't know, you're going to go meet your family, your people, they call you, you get pissed off, right? Another thing you can do is, you know how if a dog gets around another dog and they have a little tiff and they're like, and they shake it off, right? And then they're fine. So we can do the same thing. You can kind of jump or hop around and then just shake out all that energy. Maybe spend a minute doing that. That can also help that go. That energy move. I've heard another one too. I haven't personally tried it, but if you're really frustrated, anxious, pushing against a wall, right? Because essentially your body's just trapped. It's like feeling these things and it's locked in because it couldn't really respond when you were a kid. You just had to deal with it. And now you're an adult and you're learning how to be there for that little boy or girl um, in you, and learning how to take care of them because you have the tools now that they needed. Essentially, Bethany Webster said this, that, your inner child and your subconscious are the same thing, right? And when you shift your subconscious beliefs to be more of your in your adult mind, that's when your whole life can change because you're not going to repeat the past. Um, and then another one you can do is, I think it's called like butterfly something, but just kind of do this, right? So sensation is going to help with your body to bring it to the present moment. So literally just kind of doing this, right? And you can close your eyes, breathing through the nose and out. So those are three different things that you can do that can help you come back to yourself and ease your nervous system so you'll have more space to deal with whatever you need to do. How can you learn to say yes to you, even if it's a no to them? And learn to break the habit to say yes to other people if it's a no to you. That's like the ultimate as a former people pleaser. Okay, I'm gonna do one last question and then say goodbye for today. What do you think about hypnotic affirmations? These are ones that engage your nervous system. I easily and naturally allow peace in my life and will automatically makes me feel at ease. Yeah, I mean, the technique that is best for you is the one that you can deeply feel. Do you feel your nervous system shift, and do you feel that to be true? And even if you can't feel it to be true right now, can you just practice that and use your imagination? Yeah, what if it were true that I was financially stable? What are some ways that that might feel, right? You're just kind of practicing and trying it on. But ultimately, yes, any technique that allows you to change your nervous system, and ultimately, that's your feeling state, that's going to be the language of your subconscious, is going to be effective. And there's not that one works and these don't. Whatever one works for you. And heavily, it's going to have to involve feelings. And if it's feeling, your body can't feel like it's running away from a lion as your mind's like, I'm so happy, I'm peaceful. And your body's like, I'm so nervous and anxious and stressed. So learning that even if you're not imagining anything, even if you're just working on nervous system regulation, that is your feeling state. It's like on my dry erase boards, that one right there. If you start to clean it all off, you're like, okay, now you have a blank canvas that you can work with. So that is massive to creating a new life. Even if you're not envisioning the new thing, you're learning how to feel in a different state. You're learning how to feel safe, which is the realm of creativity, which is where you can kind of get these insights from the universe or God or source. Like, wait, I never thought about that before. Interesting. And then take the inspired action to be, right? Thoughts, feelings, and actions in the world. So I hope that helps. But happiest of holidays, whatever you're celebrating, happiest of New Year's. I might do another live next week. Who knows where it might take me. I'm still working on the next video. But yeah, I love y'all all. I'm so grateful for you. I'm very happy and thankful that y'all showed up today and I had a good time. And yeah, I hope that no matter what's happening, that you take some time to breathe and appreciate one thing you've done that you are happy with, one thing you are proud of from this year. And if there are more, great. But start with that. Really start giving yourself love, respect, compassion, and that you're wonderful. You literally are a miracle. You were born and therefore you deserve love, attention, affection, all your needs to be met. Your proof is your worth. And if something early on happened that makes you feel like you shouldn't, that's the limiting bullshit of that early on environment. That is not the truth of your existence. And I want you to know that you can cut free of that, free yourself so that you can experience and receive what you were born to receive. So I love y'all. Happy holidays and maybe see you next week. If not, Happy New Year. But I'm excited for 2024 and I'm excited to have all of y'all here for that. And yeah, thank y'all so much for your time.